Good morning, everybody. It is December 6th, 2023, 8:45 a.m., and we are back with another Market Open. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We am very, very excited to be here today. First of all, we're alive. We're on planet freaking Earth, all of us here at the same time. It is absolutely incredible to be alive today because we don't have many days in this lifetime of ours, and today's another day on December 6th. 8:45 a.m. that we are here today. I woke up at 3 a.m. today. I know I floated this idea yesterday of maybe I should work in the night and sleep during the day. Yeah, yesterday I tried doing that and my body, I woke up at like 4 p.m. It was ridiculous yesterday. It was just insane. And then I was working. Probably not the best idea. And you guys warned me about that in the chat. As always, the chat is right. Except when you guys say I'm not funny, that's when you guys are wrong. So I slept at about 12 last night, woke up at 3, probably should have slept at 11. So I got those at least 4 or 5 hours, got 3 hours. Got up, went back to the gym for the first time in a month. My car, that whole situation I had for the past month, I got my car back yesterday night and I went to the gym and your boy worked out. And so I'm feeling really good. Got back in the gym, got back in the motion, and I'm alive on planet Earth today with all of you beautiful people here. Thank you all for being here. Let's get ready to open the market. Quick headlines, then we'll get into what we're talking about. Palantir is down 3%. There's some reasons why it's down 3%. So we got to talk about that. Valuation probably got a little high for some of the people that sold. We did get some news that people sold today again. So we're going to be talking about that. Number 2, Robinhood up 10%. Yesterday, I think we ended, it was at like $10.20. Right now it's at $10.70 in the pre-markets. Vlad Tenev, CEO of Robinhood, was on CNBC today for 10 minutes. And what he said to me is getting me to really believe that this is going to be a broader bull market for Robinhood. Am I frozen right now? Do you guys see me? You guys can hear me though. Yes. You guys can hear me, but I'm frozen. Okay, so it's getting fixed in a second. Yes. Let me exit out of some of the stuff that might be open. That's weird. Why is it frozen? Okay, good to go. No, not good to go. Not good to go. Why is it being like that? Okay, now we are good. That's so weird. Wow. Why did it freeze like that so randomly? You guys can hear me though, which is the good thing. You guys can hear me, which is the good thing. That's weird. That's so weird. Yeah, we do have new elite internet, so I don't know why that. Hold on, let me make one change, guys. It's gonna pause for like 10 seconds. Give me 1 second, and I think it should be good. Let me see 1 second. Okay, I think we're back. Wow, it's still lagging. Why is it being like this? That is so weird. That is really weird. Okay, you know what we're going to do? We're going to adjust right on the fly. Here's what I'm going to do real quick. I'm going to get on through my other computer and go. So we're not going to stop the stream. It's still lagging, I believe. Still lagging. Let me make sure on my phone it's still lagging. Yeah, it's still lagging. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go live from this computer, and all we're going to do, the screen's going to shut off for a second. Wait, actually, if I just change the camera, would that fix it? Yeah, that fixes it. Wait, no, it's still lagging. Okay, so it's a laptop problem. Here we go. So what we're going to do, we are going to take out this camera part, and we're going to make an adjustment really quickly right here. Let's see if we can fix it, folks. This is going to be super interesting. Let's see if we can fix it right here. If I pull this off, this is going to be cool. Let's see. All right, so I'm going to enter studio. I think I fixed it. I think I fixed it. Kind of. Okay, so. Okay, can you hear me? The question now is, can you hear me? You guys probably can't hear me. That's what you guys can't hear. You guys can't hear me, so we're going to fix something right here because you can't hear me. Goodness gracious, this is bad. Audio's bad? All right, so we're going to fix the audio real quick. We're going to fix the audio. So the audio should be better, but it's still frozen. This is an absolute fail. Okay, you guys can hear me, but it's still frozen. Wow, this is so bad. This is like the worst open we've ever had in a long time. Oh boy. Okay, you can hear me just fine, but now it's still frozen, right? I appreciate the patience, but give me 1 sec. Let's see if we can fix it. We'll try one more thing to fix it. If not, then we're going to move on to something different. That is weird. Weird. Okay. I think I officially fixed it. I think we're good. I think we're back in motion. Are we back in motion? Are we back in motion, baby? Are we back? We're back in fucking motion, baby. This is what I'm talking about. We're good. This is what we do. This is what we do. We find solutions. We don't complain. We know it's frozen again. No, it's not. We're good. I don't know how the fuck I just did this, but we did this. All right. So, this is crazy. This is absolutely, thank goodness the mouse, I thought when I unplugged this USB, the mouse wouldn't be working. We've got a functioning mouse. We've got a microphone and we've got a camera. We are ready to get back in fucking motion. This is what we're doing. This is what we do. Okay. Let's start over. Thank you, 355 people, for being here. This is going to be a fun market open. We're going to act like that never happened, and we're just going to get back to the market open. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the market open. It is December 6th, 2023, 8:51 a.m. Started 6 minutes late. I don't know what happened in the past 6 minutes. I had to use the bathroom a little bit, but now we're back for the market open. Today, we're going to be talking about three things. Number one, Palantir is falling down 3%. We got to talk about why it's falling down. We're going to go through some institutional selling that has happened in Japan for Palantir. Number two, Robinhood up 10%. Vlad Tenev was on CNBC, and he dropped a lot of gems about why Robinhood is probably going to benefit from this crypto trade. So we're going to talk about Robinhood. And number three, we have a bunch of new jobs data and mortgage application data. So in the context of the macro, this should be really exciting to discuss and keep going from there. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Let's do a quick name check in the chat. John Hall, SB, Tabor, Benny, Robbie, Sethi Roth, Sim Singh, Kelly, Stevie Stone, Kaiser, Sam Chan, Bayray, Garcia, Alex, Jeremy, Carlson, Seko. Thank you all for being here. Let's get into the market open. We find fucking solutions, baby. We find solutions. All right. So Palantir, let's talk about that one first. We'll start with that because this was really interesting this morning, seeing it collapse at the level at which it collapsed. I mean, it did not expect Palantir to collapse that badly. So let's go right here. Let me open up my Webull so you guys can see some of the problems going on. You know, this is also why it's good to have two monitors, because if I didn't have another monitor, I don't know what I would have done. So here we go. All right. Can you see this? You guys should be able to see this. So let's go here to Palantir. Why is Palantir down to $17.82? It was obviously, it fell 10% on Monday, now down another 2%, almost down 13 to 14% for the week, $17.82. The main reason for why this happened is because an institutional investor apparently sold in Japan. And so that institutional investor selling in Japan wasn't really the best news when it came to Palantir. The institutional investors from Sampo Holdings. So Sampo Holdings is a company in Japan, and that company in Japan, it owns a decent amount of Palantir. And so let me just get this up real quick, and I'll show you guys the actual picture. Let's pull this up right here. Okay, here we go. Perfect. So this was the Sampo Holdings is a company Palantir has worked with for a really long time. They own a decent amount of Palantir. And the reason they own a lot of Palantir is because Palantir basically created a custom software for them. They're, again, the largest insurance company in Japan. And Japan Sampo Holdings spokesperson sold part of its stake in Palantir for 86 billion yen in profit. That is what happened today. So let's convert 86 billion yen to dollars. That is equivalent to, holy crap, that's $605 million. Oh my God. Yeah, no wonder the stock is down. Goodness gracious. That is that's a lot of profit if you're doing that. So that's definitely not the best. Audio's crackling right now. Hold on. Audio's crackling a little bit. Let's take a look at that. Oh no, okay, so that crackling, that you guys, if you guys are OG members of the Market Open, you remember that crackling was from 9 months ago. The reason that crackling happens is because when it's connected to this computer, it crackles. So that I can't do anything about today. That's why I don't use this computer anymore. You're gonna have to put up with that. I'm really sorry about that. But at least we got the Market Open working. The crackling, I can't fix that part, but hopefully it just comes and goes and it's not too bad. So nonetheless, what does this mean for in the context of Palantir? I don't think it matters that much. I think those institutional investors that are selling are taking a profit because the stock's up 200% year to date. I think a company like Palantir, obviously, if it runs up the way it's run up, it's going to be taking some profits, or people are going to be excited to take some profits. Sampo has held Palantir since about 2017. They've invested in them for a long time. That guy is probably making a 3 or 4x on his shares, given the price that he's selling at right now. So you can't kind of blame them for selling. I guess the problem is, why are they selling right now? And the only argument I can make for why they're selling is because, well, they think the stock has run up and they want to take some profits, which begs the question, is Palantir overvalued? And, you know, this is what I was talking about yesterday in the Daily Palantir episode. On a growth narrative story perspective, I do not think the company is overvalued. When you look at something like Snowflake, Datadog, Databricks, etc., peer-to-peer market valuations, Palantir is incredibly undervalued and has at least, 30 to 40% more upside, even from that $20 range. However, the growth is not there. I mean, we know the growth is not there for Palantir. Unfortunately, that's just the reality that we live in. And so if the growth is not there yet, paying for the narrative is something that I don't think the market is willing to do. And because the market's not willing to do that, that's going to be a tough situation for Palantir. So 605 million, yes, 89 billion yen, if Google's not lying, is worth $605 million. So that is a decent amount of Palantir. I initially saw this report this morning at 3 a.m. because I woke up at 3 a.m. to go to the gym. Just reminding you guys that I woke up very early to go to the gym. Just letting you guys know, yeah, your boy works out. This is the first time I work out in a month. You go to the gym in 1 month, and now you say you work out every morning. This is what happens. And then someone tweeted me the picture while I was at the gym lifting weights, just letting you guys remember that I was at the gym. And while I was lifting those heavy weights and doing those bicep curls, someone tweeted, "Yo, is this where the reason the stock is not down?" And I was like, no, not really. It's just a random person selling. Like, I don't think that's the reason. Now, when I did the math, $605 million is a lot of, that's almost close to $1 billion of profit that he probably sold a decent amount in the context of Palantir. So that's kind of what we're seeing, some of the problems with Palantir. Palantir under 15 would be nice. I agree. Palantir under 15 would be very, very nice. The problem is, I don't know, man. If we get to low 17s, 16s, I think this thing gets eaten up. Let's go back to Palantir right now. Look at this chart. And then after this, we'll talk about crypto and Robinhood because we've got a lot to talk about around that. I think it gets eaten up at 17. I could be wrong. Remember that friend I told you that sold 32,000 shares of Palantir at, what did he sell? He sold it at $20.20. And then Palantir ran to $21.85. And he was like, damn, I might have had a bad sell. He now is ready to get back in at 16 or 17. So he thinks 15 is going to be tough to get. I also think 15 is going to be tough to get. But if we do get 15, I'm going balls deep. It's just not sure if we actually get to that $15 range. I mean, if we get to 15, my entire Roth will be Palantir. I maxed out my Roth IRA, by the way, yesterday. So your boy got that 6,500 in there, and Robinhood gave us that 3% match, which was awesome. So I mean, that entire Roth, I bought 20 shares of Palantir yesterday in the Roth. If you follow me on Twitter, you saw that's at 18 something. I knew at 1830, I was like, this is probably going to keep going down, but fuck it, let's just buy 20 shares. And so if it gets to 16, we will DCA into that bad boy, and that Roth will be all Palantir. We'll keep going from there. Pull-ups are better than bicep curls. I agree. I do not have the strength to do pull-ups yet. It's been like 2 months since I post videos on Twitter of me doing 10 pull-ups in a row. It's gonna take like another month to work up to doing 10 in a row. Probably not another month, probably like 2 weeks, but got to get back in there and do that. Okay, that was Palantir. It's not that big of a deal in my opinion. It's tax loss harvesting season. I think if we get down to 16, 17, the dip will be eaten up. If we get to 15, that's the dip I am buying very heavily. So until then, it's really not that big of a concern to me, given we're seeing some of the downside momentum of Palantir. Let's move on. Let's talk about another topic. Thank you, 517 people, for being here. If you are joining now, you don't need to watch the first 6 minutes and 21 seconds of the market open. We completely switched the setup. That's why I'm looking here instead of looking at you, because it's like a weird different setup, because this computer of mine that costs $1,600 is being stupid in the morning. So we switched the setup, but we're good to go. Let's talk about what's going on with crypto and Robinhood. So first, let's start off on BTC. BTC is not slowing down, and it doesn't look like it's slowing down. Yesterday definitely shows that it's not slowing down. $44,000, 114 on Bitcoin. Why is this happening? So I am trying to do a lot more due diligence and understand what's going on in the crypto markets. Obviously, as crypto pumps, I need to be a bit more knowledgeable and be able to speak about some of the problems going on, or some of the momentum and the catalyst going on with crypto. The easy argument is the halving event and the ETFs, right? Like that is the basic argument one can make for why crypto is starting to pump. The sort of, more unique argument that I've been starting to study and learn about a little bit more is that there is a paradigm shift going on in the broader institutional ecosystem on how they conceptualize what Bitcoin is. And that's not only because there's a spot ETF approval coming, but it's rather because looking at some of the core things that have happened in the macro. Moody's just downgraded China, by the way, yesterday in terms of their debt resiliency. They downgraded the United States in the summer like 2 different times. That level of disintegration of the United States fiscal significance, which at the end of the day doesn't matter because we've got the best military in the world and like the US debt is the best debt. You don't want to own any other country's debt. I get it. But that still is bringing this unique argument towards the institutional ecosystem, which is that crypto is an asset class that is supposed to be, or that should be trusted. On top of that, I looked at some stats this morning that there's been like 99% like hodling on Bitcoin over the past couple of weeks and like 1% of selling pressure, which is just insane. I mean, the idea that 99% or 98%, some ridiculous number, right? Even if it's high 90s, is holding their Bitcoin. There's only 30% left in circulation. Again, 21 million of them, 2 million of them are lost, only 30% left. So there's like 1 million or 2 million Bitcoin that people can actually trade. That's what's determining the sort of buy side pressure, demand side pressure, because people just aren't selling. And it's different this time until the price gets to an even higher level of more seasoned Bitcoin investors that have held it for so long, just saying, we're not selling. This is going to keep going to the moon. This is going to keep going way higher than it did last cycle. And so I don't think we're going to start to see massive profit taking until that $69,000 range, if we're able to get there. So you put all of those catalysts together, you start to get an asset class that is just continuing to gain momentum. And that's why Bitcoin is continuing to do well. And that's why we're seeing the pump on Bitcoin. Carter Deli says, sorry, I'm late. Been welding in the rain this morning. Carter, thank you for being here. We had a little bit of a late start to this market open as well. So now we are here and ready to go. Ty Gordon says, governments worldwide want to transition to digital currencies. Bitcoin is the bridge that gets them there. Not saying it is good or bad, but this is clearly what the establishment wants. I agree. And this is a large term sort of argument you're making, but or long term, about like the nature, the thesis of Bitcoin. In terms of short term catalysts, it just seems like the market's starting to capitulate around a narrative around Bitcoin, and that's what's allowing that buy side pressure to come in and the demand to come in. Here is also I'm going to go to this website real quick just to look at the market cap of crypto and Bitcoin in particular to compare it against what's going on. On top of that, we've got Dogecoin, which was up 10% in the past 2 days. Last night it hit a 52-week high at 10 cents. Put in the chat if you own any Dogecoin. I do not own any Dogecoin anymore, but Dogecoin went to I think high of 79 cents or something when Elon Musk pumped it on SNL. It was rumored to be the potential currency of Twitter. I don't know if that's still going to happen, but Dogecoin went up last night, and altcoins as well went up a lot last night. As you can see right here, Bitcoin right now up 15% in the past 7 days, $863 billion market cap. That is less than the market cap of some of the biggest tech companies in the world. And, one could argue that if there is more utility in Bitcoin than something like Microsoft, I can't believe I just said that, but that is an argument that is out there, then $863 billion is incredibly cheap. And as a result of that, Bitcoin has a lot more room to run as an asset class. I mean, if you put Bitcoin at the market cap of gold, it would be like $5 million a coin. Because I think gold is 20 trillion and Bitcoin's at almost $1 trillion, right? So that would be quite the return if one were to buy, which is why a lot of people think they're still early. Ethereum is up 10% in the past day. We got XRP is up. BNB is up 1%. Solana's been on a tear. Solana peaked at 240 back in the crypto hype cycle. I know this because I had a friend who was buying it at 240. He thought he was going to be like, yeah, that didn't happen. But it was at 16 in January. And so this bad boy has tripled throughout the year, which has done really well. As you can see, Dogecoin up 26% in the past 7 days, 16% in the past. Oh, sorry, I said it was up 10%. It was up 16% in the past 24 hours. So we're seeing this momentum as Bitcoin rises for a lot of these other cryptocurrencies and altcoins to rise as well. Here's a graphic I want to show you guys as well that I thought was really interesting this morning. And then we're going to talk about Robinhood, because I am buying more Robinhood today. Let me just say that I bought more Robinhood yesterday. I am buying more Robinhood today. I'm completely convinced on the story. And it is one of those things where I'm either going to be wrong or I'm going to be right. And I'm convinced that I'm going to be right, which is why I'm going in. Like, I really do believe this is, and I believe this not because of crypto. Crypto is a catalyst. The actual narrative on the thesis on the valuation is what I've studied over the past 2 months, really in the past 2 weeks, massively. The actual The actual crypto catalyst is just what puts it over the top for me and gets me to believe that this is really happening right now. So here's a picture that I'm pulling up of altcoins that have started to rally. And then after this, after we talk about Robinhood, we'll get into a lot of macro data that we got this morning. Here's the picture. Here we go. So this right here is also really interesting. I mean, look at this right here. These are all altcoins. All of them are up. There's this one coin called Bonk or something. I forgot the name of it. That's up like some ridiculous number, Bonk or some crazy thing. You got Shiba Inu up 10%, you got Pepe up 14%, Doge up 16%. I'm not saying this is a good thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I am indifferent about it. I'm just saying that when Bitcoin goes up, there's a lot of liquidity entering the crypto markets because people want to make money. It's really no different as when the stock market pumps. I mean, it replace all these crypto coins with equities. Now, some of those equities are shit. Some of those equities are amazing. You could argue that all those equities have at least business models and cash flows. I mean, some of them, right? But at the end of the day, this is what happens when equities go up. A lot of companies go up. You had some garbage companies that also go up. There are garbage coins that are going to go up. But the point is, as an investor, you're trying to find a macro trend and then make an asymmetric bet around that trend, whether it's miners. To me, it's Robinhood. I could be Coinbase. We're going to talk about Coinbase in a second as well. Or it could be the equity class itself, like Bitcoin, the asset class that you want to invest in, that leads you to capitalize and accentuate the potential opportunity that is being seized upon in the ecosystem, which in this case is the crypto markets. So that's why we're seeing some of that momentum there. Now, let's talk about Robinhood as well, okay? And Arnie has been saying this for months. Yeah, I agree. I mean, Arnie's honestly the person that got me interested in this back in July. He started talking about Robinhood. And, you know, me and Arnie talk every day. We have a group chat. And so he started sending me stuff. And I was like, dude, I think you're right, because I use it every day. I never really thought of it as an investment app, but I use it every day. Like I'm on this platform all day. And so I started going through the thesis, and the valuations, what caught my eye the most. And that's why we're seeing some momentum here. So let's talk about Robinhood. Robinhood up right now, 2.66%, 1081 in the pre-markets after being up 10.26% yesterday. I think Robinhood is the best risk to reward in the market right now. And the reason I'm saying this is because at $7.90, when they tanked on Thanksgiving, they were trading below the cash they had on the balance sheet, meaning the market cap was below the cash. That made no sense. I bought during that time. I didn't buy enough. And the reason I don't deserve the gains I should have if I bought even at a better price during Thanksgiving is because there's one thing I didn't put together. I think I had the entire Robinhood story. I think I had the entire narrative. I was studying it very deeply, but there's one thing I did not put together that would have triggered me to completely go balls deep back at $7.90. And that is something that I'm paying for right now because I had to buy it at a higher price, even though I still think it's massively undervalued given where it can go if crypto continues to do what it does. And the thing I missed out on is the Bitcoin pump. I did not see Bitcoin doing what it does. And I probably should have seen it given it went from 27,000 to 35,000. Like you should have seen, okay, there's going to be more momentum in Bitcoin. But because I didn't understand Bitcoin and crypto well enough, I didn't understand the proxy plays and how they would benefit from crypto. Make no mistake about it. The reason Robinhood is up 14, 15% in the past week is because of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the catalyst that is triggering a frivy of momentum that is coming to Robinhood. What released on their 8K 2 days ago, which is why I decided yesterday to put a lot of money into the company, is that November trading volumes for crypto assets on the platform were up 75%, not year over year, month over freaking month. October was up 92% year over year, which means if November is up 75% month over month, I can only imagine, given that Bitcoin's even higher than it was now in November, you know, touching 44,000 from like 40,000 or around 37,000 most of November, what it's going to be in December. The 3 months that make up Q4 are October, November, December. These 3 months are going to be massive for Robinhood in terms of its crypto transaction revenues. And I think the street has recognized that. And that's why the cat is out of the bag. The cat is completely out of the bag. We got someone in the chat saying, I would have bought earlier. I would have bought Hood earlier, not now. I would agree with this sentiment if Robinhood was $15. Robinhood at $9, $10. I still, now if it gets to 11:30 today, 12 today, if that happens, then yes, I agree. You can't go balls deep anymore because unfortunately, as bullish as I am, there is a ton of resistance around that $13 level. It consistently sells off. It's kind of like a Snapchat story, runs to 12, goes back to 8. I think this is the time Robinhood can just strike right past that. And the reason for that is because of this crypto volumes that are coming in, which is why I still think it is undervalued. On top of that, the actual fundamentals of the business. So before you decide to, before you make an opinion around Robinhood, I am not buying Robinhood because crypto is going up. I am recognizing that Robinhood is going up because crypto is going up. The fundamental business of Robinhood is very, very strong. And this is where I see asymmetric bets in the market, because I was looking at some tweets yesterday and people were just like, Hood is trash. They're not profitable, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, these are the people that don't get it. And it kind of reminded me of me around Bitcoin at 23,000. I was saying all these stupid arguments. It's like, no. You don't actually get it. Saying that Robinhood is not profitable makes no sense. If you actually look at what happened, they had to pay a one-time regulatory fee, which stopped them from being profitable. They would have been profitable 2 quarters in a row. I guess the guy who probably tweeted that didn't even know they were profitable in Q2. And you wouldn't have seen the fiscal responsibility, the layoffs they are doing, the product expansion. They're coming to the UK. They're bringing crypto trading all to the European Union. And so when you look at all these things together, and we're going to move to the macro in a second, you start to put the pieces of the story together and you're like, wait a second. Coinbase was at $6.6 billion in market cap in February. Coinbase has done a 5X. It's at $33 billion. Why did it do a 5X? Not because Coinbase is like the best business in the world. It was frankly left for dead 7 months ago because Bitcoin went up. And so I'm not thinking of Robinhood as an investment because the business is too cyclical for me to want to really be a long-term holder. And even though I do think there's potential, but it's not something I really, really want to invest in long-term. But as a trade for the next year and a half, you're looking at the cyclicality of this company. This company was trading below $6 billion. Coinbase was at $6 billion. Now it's at $30 billion. Robinhood is below $6 billion. Could it get to $12 billion, which is a double, which I think all of us would be happy with right now? Right now it's at $9.1 billion, which is why I'm saying it's still trading close to that cash level that it was a couple of weeks ago. That's why I'm starting to think, wait a second, if crypto did this to Coinbase, and I know Coinbase is a direct proxy and Robinhood is not a direct proxy of crypto, but Robinhood is a decent proxy. Could something happen, even if it's not a 5X, the same way that has happened to Coinbase? On top of that, here's what Vlad Tenev said today. And this is what really, it confirmed my suspicions. The cat's out of the bag. The market gets it. And what he said today on CNBC is why I think the market is gonna get excited for Robinhood, especially because in Q4, when they show those numbers, I think those numbers are gonna hit it out of the park. Vlad Tenev says, we publish a list of the top 100 equities our users buy, and in terms of reoccurring payments, which means you can set up automatic DCAs on your Robinhood app, Bitcoin is the number one asset users are DCAing to on Robinhood in a reoccurring payment cycle. I mean, that to me, when I heard that morning, I was like, holy shit, it's happening. It is out of the bag. The cat is out of the bag. Now, let me preface this by saying this trade can still go wrong. This play can still go wrong. Bitcoin could crash, which means Robinhood doesn't benefit, or Robinhood doesn't have the catalyst. I think Robinhood is still fundamentally sound as a business, which is why I would still invest in it. But if Bitcoin crashes, crypto crashes, a lot of this momentum starts to go away. So that is kind of the bear case here. Maybe interest rates go down and equities don't really go up, and then Robinhood can't make that much money off their pile of cash that they're collecting from interest revenue. So there's a lot of ways this trade can fail. Please do not follow me into this trade. Please do not buy it because I sound excited about it. I'm saying what I'm seeing going on in the market, and obviously this is the stock that's up 10% of the day. You've got to talk about it. And because I've invested in it for the past couple of basically months now, but not buying as heavily as I've been buying over the past couple of weeks. That's why I'm discussing it. You need to really understand what are the risks here if this could go wrong. But Vlad saying this morning proves this argument about November crypto trading volumes being up 75% month over month. And so when I saw him say this, you know what I feel like, guys? You know what I feel like? The reason I'm wearing this hat is because I'm fucking Sherlock Holmes. Okay. What I feel like over the past 2 weeks is I've been putting this mystery together around Robinhood. People don't know. Maybe I said this on Finance Junkies. Some of you guys heard this. My good friend Steve, Dividend Streams. I called Brian this comment right here. We have to talk about this comment as well because this comment, someone posted something similar to this and it went viral on Twitter. So let me say this and then we're going to talk about your comment here. I called Steve 2 weeks ago when Robinhood was at $7.95, $8.30, whatever it was. And I said, Steve, I was walking to go get a drink at some local store. I said, Steve, I got 20 minutes. I got to talk to you before I get back to work. He was like, all right. I was like, I'm thinking of putting a lot of money in Robinhood. What do you think? And he sat with me for 20 minutes. He's looking at the valuation. And I love Steve, but Steve was being a little bit more conservative than I wanted him to be. So Steve was like, look, it could work. The valuation's nice, but they have some problems with their operating income and yada. He gave me all these arguments. And I was like, all right, fine. And so I went conservative. I shouldn't have fucking listened to Steve because I was being Sherlock Holmes, even though I didn't have the hat 2 weeks ago. And in my head, like I literally was tossing and turning at night. I was like, wait a second, this valuation does not make sense. If there's any level of catalyst, it's trading at cash. It's going to go up. The stock will go up and I will make money if this happens. So I need to either make the bet or I need to be a little bitch and not put the money in. Like I need to do something. And I ended up being a little bitch and I put some money in, but I didn't really make the bet. Now these crypto trading volumes have put the cat out of the bag. The street knows what's happening with Robinhood and what's going to happen in Q4. And so I think that's why we're seeing some of this momentum here right now. Byron, this comment is really important as well. So what happened over the weekend, or not over the weekend, 3 days ago, is Robinhood started this program, which is that they will match your entire portfolio if you take it off Schwab or Fidelity and you put it on Robinhood, and they're going to give you a 1% match on it. So uncapped. So this guy, Sheel Mohanat, this tweet got 270,000 views. This guy's like some rich VC in Silicon Valley. He probably has upwards of a couple million, high six figures in Schwab. He said, I just moved my entire self-directed portfolio to Robinhood. They give a 1% bonus on all assets with no cap. And that's no cap, ladies and gentlemen, even though I'm wearing a cap. Schwab called to offer $5,000 to keep my account there, but the Robinhood offer is way more compelling. He said it took me 3 minutes to do this. So he then posted the screenshots of him going back and forth with the Schwab email correspondent. And he said, they basically are treating me like a joke, because why would you give me $5,000 when Robinhood's probably giving this guy $100,000 or whatever the hell they're giving him to take his entire portfolio onto Robinhood? I've seen a lot of tweets like this. If you just look at Twitter and you search up Robinhood, a lot of people are moving their assets. Someone in the comments right now just said that they moved their assets all to Robinhood. What that means is, as an investor, is that the net accumulative deposits on the platform, November was 1.4 billion, October was 1 billion. That's up 22% year over year on a trailing 12 months in terms of the assets that are coming onto the platform. I don't know what December is going to be like, but it's going to be at least $1 billion. They're bringing a lot of money onto this app. Not to mention the Roth IRA 3% match, right? Why did I give my money to Robinhood yesterday, $6,500? Because they gave me $195 to give them $6,500. And they're able to do this because they have a shit ton of cash on their balance sheets. This is what Vlad was talking about today. And that 5% APY, they're getting 5.5% from the government. So they're able to fund all this stuff. They've really done a phenomenal job. The biggest critique of Robinhood was in 2021, when it's a low interest rate environment, they won't be able to operate. And Vlad basically said, go to hell. He said, I'm a founder. I started this company out of my basement. I came from Bulgaria. You think I'm going to let interest rates stop me from getting the world to be interested in my product? No way. And he transitioned the business. Robinhood Gold, 1.3 million subscribers, growing 100,000 sequentially quarter over quarter in terms of subscriptions, $5 a month, printing cash for Robinhood for basically just offering a variety of free services that are new services that customers really enjoy, like myself. The 3% IRA match and 5% yield basically pays for the $5 a month I pay in gold membership. So there's a lot of momentum going on for Robinhood, and that's why the stock is up. And I think the cat's out of the bag. The question now becomes, how well does the market actually give Robinhood the momentum before they report Q4 earnings? And every way I think of it, when I think this trade can go wrong, I think of, okay, what happens if Robinhood declines 20% and goes back to $9? The valuation becomes stupid again. And so when I'm looking at it at 1089 right now, up 3.42% in the pre-market, I'm thinking, wait a second, if it gets back to $9, let's say there's some stupid sell-off that happens, it will be dumb. It will be trading at cash again, or trading below cash again, like it was a week ago. So why would the street let it go back to trading at cash when there's a shit ton of catalysts that we just talked about for the past 20 minutes, and crypto is going to increase those trading volumes out the wazoo, and they're gap profitable, and they're expanding to the UK, and crypto's coming to the entire EU? I just don't see how this thesis necessarily goes wrong. There is a way it goes wrong, but I'm taking the bet that it does go right. And if it does, I'm taking the big bet that it will do well. So that is what I'm feeling on Robinhood, and ultimately we'll see what happens. Is this a paid advertisement? No, this is not a paid advertisement. People in the chat buying Robinhood or putting your stuff on Robinhood is not going to pump the stock. It's more so me analyzing. And, I think the reason people watch this channel is because you guys are watching my journey as becoming an investor. And a lot of you relate, because I'm not the smartest guy in the world, and neither are you. So this is part of a journey that if this trade goes well, this will be a moment in my life where I remembered, holy crap, I took a month out of my life and I really tried to focus on this one thing. And I made a narrative. I put on this cap to become Sherlock Holmes, and I was right. And you got to be early and you got to be right for investments to go really well. And so this is one where you'll either see it work or it won't, and we'll see what ends up happening. All right. So as I say that, Lewis says, Amit, that hat is not it. I am sorry, Lewis. Someone said I look like Heisenberg yesterday, and they're like, oh, Amit hasn't slept all night and he's wearing this hat. It seems oddly suspicious. And I kind of like that personality of Heisenberg. I'm not going to lie. That's why I like wearing the hat. Robinhood charge for trades? No, they charge a small regulatory fee, 3 cents on a... That's another thing. It's a good comment you have. I think they're making 3 cents per options contract now, because I have to pay 3 cents per options contract. And I don't know if that 3 cents goes to the government because it's a regulation fee, or they keep some of that. What I've heard is that they keep some of that. which is another form of revenue that we haven't heard of. And then on Bitcoin, they take 0.35%. They have the cheapest Bitcoin in the world. You don't own it because it's not on like your cold wallet or whatever, but most people don't give a shit about the cold wallet. Robinhood has $3 billion worth of exposure to Bitcoin. There's 188,000 Bitcoin in custody on the platform. That's why as Bitcoin starts to go higher, you see that trading volume happen on Robinhood as well. Okay, so I'm on Interactive Brokers. How easy is it to open an account on Robinhood? The guy that posted on Schwab on Twitter, he said it took him 3 minutes to switch. So I don't know about Interactive Brokers, but I mean, if it took him 3 minutes, maybe it's quicker, maybe it's a little bit more complicated. But I think I don't know. You'll have to see. But it seems like it's not the craziest, hardest process in the world. Okay, let's move on to some macro stuff. We have a lot of macro to talk about. Peter Girardi, thank you for the $1.99 super chat. You say, I am the smartest person in the world, admit. All right, Peter, if you're the smartest person in the world, then you got to put some other comments in the chat of what equities we should buy. I mean, if you told us to buy Bitcoin a month ago, you probably would be the smartest person in the world because a lot of us would be up. And it's 681 people here. Thank you for being here. We are 9 minutes away from the market open. Let's discuss what went on today early in the morning. We got a ton of different macro factors that are going on. So let's start off with this. Here we go. Mortgage applications are higher, which is really, really important. So in the month of December, the mortgage applications came in higher, 2.8% ending December 1st over the previous week. Mortgage applications in the United States averaged 0.57% from 1990 until 2023, reaching an all-time high of 112% in November of 2008. Obviously, 2008, we had the crash. That's when people started getting more applications. Why is this so important? Because housing prices have started to decline pretty dramatically over the past couple of weeks. And the reason for this is because these Zillow fantasy prices that we've seen on housing, they're not going to last forever, right? And at one point, they had to start to come down. If the Fed's going to lower interest rates, then obviously the demand side of the housing market realizes that people aren't going to settle for paying an 8% mortgage rate or whatever because they know rates are coming down. So some of these prices have to come down to be able to incentivize them to buy houses. That's a good thing. We're seeing prices come down. Why is this a good thing? Because inflation starts to come down if some of these prices start to come down and we don't have these ridiculous $5 million houses that have like 2 bedrooms, right? Like that really can't keep happening. In the stock market. Now, the next piece of news that we got that was not the best, but there is a contrary point of news that allows you to understand what's going on in the broader job market is ADP data. So in November, we posted 103,000 jobs that were created by private businesses this month. The restaurants and hotels were the biggest job creators during the post-pandemic recovery, said Nella Richardson, chief economist of ADP. But that boost is behind us, and we will see a return to the trend in leisure and hospitality, suggesting that the economy as a whole will see more moderate hiring and wage growth in 2024. As you can see on this chart here, in June of 2023, that's when we had the highest month for job growth in the economy. We had 455,000 jobs that were created. And that's why the Fed paused, right? That's why the Fed took a little bit of a break. The problem is the market rallied. That was a fake out because the Fed raised rates a couple more times after. Now the market actually believes, okay, rates are going to be cut. The Fed raised more. So the market believes rates are going to be cut going into next year. Now we're declining. We at 103,000, the market expected a little bit more than 103,000. The market actually expected, I think, 130,000 or something. So it was 27,000 less jobs than expected, which kind of points to this argument that, look, unemployment starting to tick up a little bit more, or just the lack of employment. Spotify cut 17% of their workforce. A couple other companies are starting to cut. And so we are seeing some of that go on in the job market. However, what's also really important is that productivity went up. And so this is the really interesting element here about what's going on with jobs. So we just talked about how we had 103,000 jobs, less than 130,000 jobs that were expected. Productivity is up 5.2% in the third quarter. This is for non-farm payrolls. So you're talking about the consultants, all the people that work in sort of these white collar jobs. They're being more productive. They're not just sitting at home and like working 17 jobs and watching Netflix all day and doing 1 hour of coding. They're actually producing for the economy. This is accelerating from 3.6% in Q3 and more than preliminary estimates of a 4.7% increase. So it's about 500 basis points above what the market thought would happen. It says the increase in labor productivity is the highest rate since the third quarter of 2020, in which productivity increased 5.7%. Output grew by 6.1% versus 5.9% in the preliminary, while hours worked were up 1.1% from the same quarter a year ago. Why does this matter? The reason this matters to me is because of and because of I think, and maybe this is a little naive here, but I think that AI is part of the reason. The general sort of operationalization. Oh my God, how did I? That was bad. The operationalization. I should be an opera singer. I was an opera. The operationalization of artificial intelligence and broader technologies throughout the entire workforce, something like a Microsoft Copilot that makes people more productive so that the 5 hours or probably 5 minutes that some of these tech workers work a day, now it turns into like 2 minutes, but they get 10 times the amount of productivity. I'm just messing with the tech workers. I know you guys work really hard. Maybe, probably not, but the coding does matter. So the point is they are getting more productive. And because they're getting more productive, Microsoft is going to be able to make more revenue. They're going to have better margins, because we're seeing something like a operationalization of AI in the workforce, and other companies besides Microsoft that are using Copilot are going to get more productive. Guess what they're going to do? They're going to pay Microsoft to continue to use something like a Copilot. And that's just one example of a variety of examples throughout the entire services industry of people becoming more productive. I mean, even a simpler example for people to understand is I was at the airport a month ago, and I didn't have to go to a cashier, right? There was a robot that was doing it. I know it's a cliche example, but the point is those robots are becoming more effective. I was in and out in like 1 minute, like it just the technology, it's gotten significantly better from 5 years ago when they had these kiosks that tried to take your order. And so that is leading to broader momentum in the total productivity that we're seeing in the market. Now, this is weird because the GDP estimate yesterday, I don't know if you guys caught this, came in at 1.2% for the quarter. That's down from 5.3%. That's what the Atlanta Fed said about 3 weeks ago. That got the market really excited. 1.2% actually makes sense because your boy Bill Ackman, who covered his bond short and thinks that the economy is going to start to contract, which is why he covered the bond short, because he's going to start believing that the Fed is going to cut interest rates, which means bonds are not going to do as well, because those yields are going to go down. This 1.2% GDP estimate kind of makes sense with what Bill Ackman was saying over the past couple of weeks as well. Let me check the 10-year as I'm saying this right now. And so we are kind of getting those indicators that, look, that is happening. The economy is slowing down a little bit, unemployment rising, but crypto's going up. And so there are some other plays in the market, even if you're not just betting on the entire market in general, which if interest rates come down, I still think the market is going to be able to be in a risk-on environment in 2024 that are going to benefit from other things, even if we're seeing some slowdowns in the economy in general. Did you see that Palantir is a consultancy today? Who made this argument today? Did someone put out a short report again? Did we have a short report that Palantir is a consultancy? Oh my God, the 10-year. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Let me show this right now. Yeah, Nate, link me that if there was if someone said that. The 10-year's at 4.144. The breaking news on CNBC, you guys see at the top, McDonald's aims to open nearly 9,000 restaurants at 100 million loyalty members by 2027. Was there earnings for McDonald's? No, this is just a press release they came out with. Oh, wow. Wow, this is big news. This is great for the economy. McDonald's wants to add 9,000 more restaurants. That's great. It's not good for obesity, but it's great for the economy. So 4.142%. If that bad boy goes down to 3.9, we are in a different world when it comes to being a risk on. And that's why I think we're seeing some of the equity markets rally a bit more on what's going on. So we got 2 minutes into the market open. Here we go. Let's see what we've got going on. Wow, Robin, at $10.92, up 3.7% in the pre-markets. Let's see what it opens at in just a minute. What else do we have in the pre-market? Let me check the S&P. I actually haven't seen the S&P all day because I was at the gym, because I woke up early to go to the gym. Just letting you guys remember that I work out at the gym, and I woke up to go to the gym. Even though my name is not Jim, but hopefully one day I'll find my Pam. 458.76 on the S&P. It's up 0.47%. This is good. We had 2 days of some downside momentum on the S&P 500. Monday and Tuesday were a little bit red. Monday was a little bit green. Tuesday was definitely red. Today's Wednesday. It's hump day, and S&P is humping. 458.71. It's up 0.47% on the day. Bitfarms is up 5%. CleanSpark is up 2%. Coinbase is up 1%. Robinhood up 3.18%. SoFi as well. Look at that. 813 up 1.88%. So in the next 40 seconds, we are going to see how this market opens and ultimately how this ends up playing out. On top of that, the other problem we had, what was the other problem we had? Is Palantir. Palantir is down. So we're going to see how Palantir opens while the market is green. Palantir right here. Yeah, Palantir 1767. Palantir is down 3.39%. All right, so this is going to be an interesting market open because Palantir is red. A lot of these stocks are green, and it's going to be interesting to see how the market reacts to this stuff as we get into it. All right, December 6th, 2023. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We are live. We are on planet Earth. Grateful to be alive. Grateful to spend another day doing this market open. The stock market is now open. Wake your ass up. Here we go. The stock market is open. Palantir opens at 1768, down 3.4%. If you're just tuning in, it's because someone at Sampo Holdings, which is a big shareholder of Palantir, sold $680 million of a profit on Palantir. I don't know what that means in terms of how much they sold, but they made a $680 million profit, so they probably sold a lot of Palantir. I think that is what is declining the stock price today, down 3.32%. Robinhood opens up at $10.90, up 3.5% on the day. It's trying to break 11 right now, 1096, 1094. Let's see what this comes out at. It is at 1093. It's making its move. 1093 right here. Opens up 3% of the day. It was up 10% yesterday. We'll get back to Robinhood in a little bit, but it is fighting to see if it can get to that level. That is what we're seeing on Robinhood. MicroStrategy up 0.81% on the day. Tesla up 2.2%. Tesla rallying from 230 down up to 244. It was at 250 on the Cybertruck event, went down to 233 now at 243 on the day. Snowflake at 187. Lilium is up 0.99%. GameStop is up 4%. Instacart's down. Oh boy, I haven't checked Instacart in a while. $23.84, but went public at 31, up 0.44% on the day, but it is down. SoFi 820 up 3% on the day. Cathie Wood bought 250,000 shares of SoFi yesterday. Cathie Wood has been buying at this point a million and a half shares over the past 2 weeks. So Cathie is definitely excited and bullish on SoFi. Uber at 58.69. It's up 1.2%. Just got into the S&P 500 a week ago. Nvidia was at 450. Now it's at 471 on the day. So we're seeing large cap tech, Microsoft at 373 going green, even though it's below its 52-week low, 52-week high. Nvidia at 472. Palantir 1739, down 5% on the day. We are seeing the sell-off on Palantir currently happen. Richard, you say your mom's annoyed yet with the bell ringing. Ironically, my mom actually took off from work today, so she's working from home, so she probably heard the bell. But Palantir's down. Oh, wow. 5.27%. Oh, wow. 1728. This bad boy is dropping like a rock. It is dropping like an absolute rock. Palantir's falling. Palantir is falling. Why is it falling? I mean, look, at the end of the day, the reason I think it's falling, and I've been saying this on, the market open a lot over the past couple of weeks, is that $20 got into a tough valuation territory for Palantir. Again, the growth story is there. The growth is not there. That is the one sentence that summarizes the problem with Palantir right now. And that's why we're seeing, I think, a sell-off. Again, a 5% sell-off is institutional investors. It's not retail. Now it's all at 6%. Oh my God. That's a red candle. Yeah, I mean, it's looking like it's heading for 16. 16, I start buying heavily. I've said this as well. So if we see 16, I'm going to be buying. Kelly, my 17 order is going to fill. Well, yeah, probably. I mean, if it gets down to 17, look at this. Oh my goodness. Who's buying? That's the question. If you guys remember a couple of days ago, I said, I think the catalysts for Palantir are out of the way. S&P 500 right now, 458, Bitcoin at 44,000. So my question was, who's going to buy as the stock is up still 170% year to date? That is the question you have to ask yourself. At 21, the momentum came in from retail. At 17, you've got to get institutional back in for them to really get excited. Retail is not taking a $2 billion float company back up $3-4. Like, that's just not happening. But retail's also not taking it down $3. So the decline we're seeing has to be institutional. It really, I mean, retail can be piling on, but I don't think it's making that much movement in the context of some of the decline we're seeing. For those that missed it, this was the press release that I think is the reason for seeing the decline we're seeing right now on Palantir. Here you go, right here. Japan Sampo Holdings sold part of its stake in Palantir Technologies. 86 billion yen was the profit, which is $605 million. I don't know how many shares that is in Palantir, but that's a decent amount. And as a result of that, we're going to see, some of that price action start to occur, right? This was at 1774 back at around 4 or 5 a.m. Palantir was going down, and then we were seeing it down. This is actually a good chart someone posted under Twitter on the context of Palantir. So as you can see right here, as of, it might be a little hard to read, but as of September 30th, 2023, institutional holders were 882. Whereas in June, it was 925. So we did see a slight decline in terms of institutional holders, even though we saw shares start to go a little bit higher. As you can see, 733 million shares were there versus 667. And so we saw that start to go down a bit more. Total invested was 11 billion versus 7.9 billion from institutional investors 3 months later. So obviously institutions sold, and their 13Fs and 13Gs show that, but there was still enough momentum because a company like Renaissance Technologies added 9 million shares to their stake. Now they're the third largest shareholder of Palantir. Kathy Wood was buying a lot of Palantir. So even though institutional investors sold, there was definitely a lot of momentum coming in. The problem is now at tax loss harvesting season and being closer to the end of the year, you got these toots that are like, you know what, we got to take some profits. And I think that's what we're seeing right now in the context of Palantir. Palantir right now at 1740. Okay, down 5%. So recovering a little bit down from 1720. Robinhood up 2.66% on the day. Robinhood is at $10.80. So Robinhood not completely going up to the moon at $11, but still at $10.82, which is not bad for Robinhood at all. Obviously, it opened yesterday, was up 10%. I think it ended yesterday at 10.50, so now it's up 2.75% on the day, which is absolutely incredible. Now at $10.83. Riot is up 1%. CleanSpark is up 0.97%. Marathon is up 2.4%. Marathon is up 350% year to date. Absolutely insane. I saw that this morning. Incredible. Bitfarms is up 100% in the last week. I could have doubled my money and I sold it too early for 46%, which I thought was good, but crypto good is a little different type of good. Tesla 242, Snowflake 187, GameStop is up 3% on the day. What else do we have? Nvidia 472. Let's check on Google. Google was down yesterday. Google is green 132. Let's check on Meta. Meta was down yesterday. Meta is green at 320. So over the past couple of days, we saw the rotation from large cap tech into mid caps, and what we're seeing today is the S&P go back for 52-week highs. In a dollar, it'll be at 52-week highs at 459.65. And all of the large cap tech are starting to rally. This is consistent with the narrative we heard over the past couple of weeks from a lot of these investors that said that there would be a decline in December and then there would be a rally into the end of the year. I don't think that decline has necessarily happened because it's only December 6th, but we did see a slight decline in the past 2 days, and now we're seeing a slight tick up. So maybe there's some sense of that's going on right now, but that's what a lot of people thought would happen in the month of December, given November was a 9% month on the stock market. ARK Innovation, Kathy Wood, $48. It's up. Intel is at 42. Intel was at 47. So that's actually down. Snapchat, very similar to Robinhood in the context of Snapchat, just got too cheap. Now at $7.33. I publicly said on this very market open live stream that I hate Snapchat. And even though I said on the live stream, look, I really want to buy it because at 7:30, it seems like it's just going to go up because stocks can't, at some level, if there's some intrinsic value to the company, there will be people that buy it up and we'll get some momentum there. But I read their shareholder letter and I was like, I can't read this. I cannot trust this company. That was a mistake looking at the numbers because the stock was poised to go higher off of one good news of an Amazon partnership that I don't even think is really going to benefit Amazon, right? It's like Snapchat. So it's just, there was a play to be made. I looked at the $15 calls. They're up 100% in the past the past month. So if you took a bet on Robinhood or Snapchat at $9, thinking that, in 2 years it might be at $15, you're up 100% in the past month. And that is where some of these asymmetric opportunities are when things get so stupidly undervalued. Now you have to have a thesis for why it's undervalued. Robinhood, the thesis was obvious. Their cash was more than their market cap on the balance sheet. For Snapchat, I didn't have that thesis, so I couldn't go with the trade. But that is where we're seeing some of these opportunities show themselves in the market for companies that have been massively sold off. Palantir 1752 down 4.5% on the day. Robinhood 1080 up 2.75%, and Bitcoin 44,000, maintaining that level. Still, absolutely phenomenal value on Bitcoin, getting to that 44,000 level as well. Nate, let me open up your link. Okay, Nate, I'm gonna need you. I'm sorry to do this to you, but can you tweet this to me or can you DM me on Twitter, because StreamYard doesn't let you copy messages, which is so stupid. I don't know why they don't do that. And I can't type that in right now. So just DM me on Twitter and I will open it up right now and we'll see what people are saying. StreamYard needs to fix that. They need to let you copy a message from the chat. It's so weird. Let's go to SoFi. Where's SoFi? SoFi. Oh boy, there you go. SoFi 822. Right back to where it was. Right back to where it was 3 days ago. 822, up 3%. Not bad at all for SoFi. Look, Chris Lapointe and what's his name? Noto. They had a thingy. They had a Q&A for shareholders 2 days ago. It was like an hour long, and I guess it was a good Q&A, and that got investors excited. And so, honestly, SoFi just doesn't deserve to be at these levels. So we're probably seeing some momentum there in fintech, but that's why we're seeing SoFi go higher as well. Okay, so this is what Nate sent me. I actually did see this morning. So Ivana Spear, I don't know who this person is, but she's someone on Twitter. She put out a link for Spear's AI primer and ecosystem map. So these are all the companies that are going to take a massive role in the AI ecosystem. And the reason Nate told me to put this up is because Palantir is not on this list. And that is honestly disrespectful. And I think that is also where the market opportunity is for Palantir. I mean, they put a company like Copy.ai. I like Copy.ai, but Copy.ai is just like ChatGPT on steroids for you to be able to make copy for your Instagram ads, right? Like it just helps you write. It's like an essay writer. And it's a good company. They're growing really well, but I think they're just powered by GPT, right? It's nothing that exciting. To not have Palantir on this list is really, I mean, it just goes to show you why institutional holdings of Palantir aren't as high as something like a Snowflake, because institutions still do not get the story around Palantir. This is why Dan Ives has come on my channel and he said, look, retail got this before the toots got it. And he thinks institutional investor sentiment is changing, but it's not at the level where there's a massive interest in Palantir. Because if there was, stock would be at $25, $30. It would not be in this $15 range. It would be trading closer to Snowflake's valuation, which is $61 billion. Palantir right now, 1746. So there are some dip buyers, people that are buying it right now at 4.4%. It's not down at 1712 anymore. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take advantage of this dip in my Roth IRA. So I'm going to open up the Roth right now. I bought 20 shares yesterday at $18. Let's buy some Palantir right now. So we're going to buy, let's do, how many shares are we? Let's do 50 shares. All right. We're doing 50 shares right now. Can you guys see this? Can you see this? There you go. This is in the Roth. Let's buy the dip. 1742, down 15% in a week. Let's get it. There we go. 50 shares, 1744 on Palantir in the Roth. I mean, honestly, if we keep dropping, my goal is to just make the Roth Palantir. Let's just do that, because I really like 15 and under. And so if that happens, long term, I think we're going to have a lot of catalysts. I know euphoria has died down a little bit because we've fallen from 21 to 17 or wherever we're at right now. But if you just remember what the sentiment was a couple weeks ago, it was Palantir is going to be the next biggest thing in the world, and people finally got it. What I think really killed momentum is that insider selling, man. Alex Karp selling 900,000 shares, Sam Sanker, Peter Thiel, Stephen Cohen. I get why they sold. The stock's up 200% year to date. You got to sell. But like, that told investors, okay, if the insiders are selling, then we should take some profits. And I think that's also why some of these toots are selling as well. Austin says, isn't buying single stocks in a retirement account risky? Buying single stocks in general is risky. But I think if you're watching this channel, or if you consume finance content in general, you're consuming it for the alpha, right? You're not trying to buy an index fund because then you can just set up a 401k and have, you're buying individual stocks and learning about options and all these different things and trying to find, is Snapchat undervalued, is Robinhood undervalued, because you want the alpha. And so that alpha is ultimately what is the most important when it comes to stock picking. But it's a dangerous game. It's not easy to be able to do this. My camera just died, but that's okay, because I had a clip that I want to show you guys right now. We're going to watch this to get a little bit more context on what's happening with Bitcoin. This is Anthony Pompliano. He was on CNBC yesterday, and we're going to watch a couple of minutes of him talk about why we're seeing this momentum in Bitcoin. This guy's been in Bitcoin for a long time, and he is probably one of the better people to get some insights from in terms of what's going on right now. I know a lot of people don't like him, but I think his insights are actually pretty sound. And here's his explanation for what's happening with crypto. Let me know if you guys can hear it as well. If you can't hear the audio, let me know if you can't hear it.
Specifically, $42,000. What do you ascribe the move to?
Yeah, Bitcoin is a free market asset. And I think one of the things people forget in finance is that markets are forward looking. And so what we're seeing here is people are allocating to an asset that they believe is going to go up in the future, obviously. Things that will drive that are the Bitcoin ETF. But as people are allocating to this, 70% of the circulating supply of Bitcoin has not moved in a year. The reason why that's important is this is an $800 billion asset that has gone up 150% over the last 12 months. So when an asset goes up 150%, you would expect people to sell into the strength, kind of take profits. That's not happening. And so Bitcoiners are not selling that Bitcoin. They're not going to sell it to Wall Street. And so Wall Street's going to have to continue to bid up the price.
Let me ask you that share issue. So the 70%, that has not changed, not just this past year, but by the way, that has not changed, I don't think, for many, many years.
It's always been very high. 70% is the all-time high. So it's been creeping up, which has this reflexive kind of feedback loop, right? So if more people won't sell and price goes up, then price continues to go up even more rapidly.
Okay, the other 30% that is moving.
Yes.
Do you think that, I mean, I don't know if you can look through some of the numbers. Are those new buyers? Are those the old buyers who owned the original 70% saying, I want more? What is that?
So it's interesting when you look at the data, it's a little bit of everything, right? There's definitely more accumulation happening. So people who already had Bitcoin are continuing to buy more Bitcoin. An interesting statistic is if you dollar cost average every single day with $10 from January 1st until now, you're up 100%. So with all the boom, the bust, everything in between, a Bitcoin analyst, Dylan LeClaire, pointed out, you're up 100%. So just dollar cost averaging alone gave you a great return. Now, there's also this net new wave of capital coming in. So you have the institutions, but also you have a bunch of people sitting on the sidelines saying, well, if BlackRock wants Bitcoin, maybe I should buy some as well. And so that net new capital is definitely starting to come in, but I don't think we're actually going to see it until the gun goes off.
Okay, but the real move, I think, seemed to happen as a function of this idea that the Federal Reserve, the new wisdom, whether it's conventional or otherwise, or right even, is that they're going to ultimately have to turn things around and lower interest rates sometime in 2024. Is that what you ascribe? I mean, there was the ETF piece, and everyone said, oh, over here, it's the ETF piece. And now everyone says, oh, no, it's actually this.
Markets are forward looking. And if you go back to 2021, Bitcoin started to fall as soon as the Fed started talking about we are going to cut rates. And so people were like, oh, wait a second, inflation is high in the summer of 2022. Why is Bitcoin falling? It's supposed to be this inflation hedge asset. But it was because Bitcoin and the holders saw what was going to happen. Same thing's happening right now. Bill Ackman's betting that interest rates are going to get cut in Q1. The market's pricing at 100% likelihood of an interest rate cut in Q2. Bitcoiners right now and people who want Bitcoin say it's going to happen even earlier.
What is the share right now internationally of ownership of Bitcoin? Meaning, is it predominantly in the United States? Is it predominantly in China? If you were to make a pie chart of the ownership on a globe, what would that look like?
So let's separate Bitcoin and hash rate. Hash rate, about 35% or so, is in the United States. When China banned mining, the United States was the big winner there.
Right.
Ownership's a little bit harder because there's so many wallets that we don't know exactly geographically where they are. But you can see capital flows. The United States and Asia seem to really be driving a lot of the capital flows right now. The European region is actually a little bit behind and not allocating nearly as much. And so I think that America is going to be a big winner in the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency race. We see.
All right, so I'm going to pause there right now. We'll get back to it in just 1 second. I have some comments on what he's going to say. We're going to finish him talking about it because it seems like you guys were definitely interested in what he was saying, and I think he's making some really good points here. Robinhood, as he's talking about crypto and Bitcoin, Robinhood passes $11. It is up 4.8% on the day. I think the cat is out of the bag. I spent a long time this morning talking about Robinhood for those that are just joining. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to make the timestamps because we had a lot of technical issues for the first 6 minutes of the stream. But if you go to like 15 minutes to like 40 minutes on this morning open, I've been talking about Robinhood and I laid out the entire thesis. 2 days ago, I stayed up till 5 a.m. calling a friend in California who works in an investment bank when Robinhood was at like 9:40 or whatever. And we were like, should we really go balls deep into this company? And we stayed up for 2 hours. And the conclusion was the valuation doesn't make any sense. If certain things happen, Robinhood right now up 5% of the day. And the things that needed to happen are as follows. Crypto volume goes up, net users come onto the platform, and they get similar to those Q2 2021 numbers. In Q2 2021, people forget, Robinhood had 22.5 million MAUs, not just users, MAUs, meaning people actually using it every day. Now they have 10.3 million. So that has gone in half. And their average revenue per user was $112. Now their average revenue per user is $80, but their average revenue per user 5 quarters ago was $53. So they got that 53 up to 80. Do you think if crypto, does what it needs to do and equities go higher as rates get down, can Robinhood get that back up to $112? These are the estimates we did. We did $100 a user. We did 25 million users because right now they have 23 million. So we would argue they could get at least 2 million more in a really nice bull cycle. We thought that was really conservative. And then we did 15 times EBITDA, which is incredibly conservative. There are private companies, in the broader market that minimum they go for 20 times EBITDA. So we kept very basic assumptions and you get to a share price of around $16. And if you put a little bit of a multiple, you get to $18. So from that perspective, Robinhood now up 5.7%, $11.13. It did seem like the company was undervalued, and that's what we're seeing right now on Robinhood. SoFi is running as well. Is SoFi running? Where's SoFi? There you go. SoFi 827, up 3.4% of the day. Palantir now recovering 1780. All right, so we got a 1740 buy on Palantir. Not bad. 1780 right now on Palantir. So down 2%. So the dip was bottom Palantir, at least to an extent, still down 2.7% of the day. But Robinhood is the story of the day. 11.16. This is why I said last night I'm buying more Robinhood. And you know what I did last night? Because we have 24-hour trading. I bought more Robinhood. I bought more Robinhood last night, just like pure stock. Probably not buying options anymore. I built out an options position, and so I'm comfortable with the options position. I wish I'd bought a little bit more, but I'm comfortable where it's at, and I'm ready to go. I'm still buying stock. I mean, $11 now, maybe. I would think twice before I really get into it. But every time I think about it, I just start to feel that the catalysts are there. Crypto's not stopping in December, presumably. If that's not stopping, Q4 numbers are going to smash. Robinhood, we should also listen to Vlad Tenev on CNBC today. Actually, I think let's go to that. Let's hear him talk about this to explain kind of what's going on. Vlad Tenev said the number one asset people trade on crypto in terms of reoccurring DCA payments is Bitcoin. Robinhood is a major player in the Bitcoin ecosystem that a lot of people don't think about. And that's why we're seeing some of that momentum continue to go there right now on Robinhood. So let's look at Robinhood because that's what's going up right now, and let's listen to Vlad talk and get his perspective. Then we'll go back to Anthony Pompliano right after this and see what he has to say. Ultimately, the argument he was making about Bitcoin was that the institutional interest is getting people excited, and as a result, that 401k ETF exposure that can come to this platform is what's making people think, you know what, maybe this is a store of value, an asset class that we should allocate capital to before these ETFs are approved and before things get really exciting for crypto and just more volume coming in. And no one's selling. Like there's 99% buy pressure and 1% sell pressure on Bitcoin, which means the hodlers keep hodling and the price of the asset keeps going up because more people want to know, more people want to get exposure to Bitcoin. Here's Vlad on CNBC today. Robinhood stock up 6% on the day.
October to November. Joining us right now on the set, no less. We're seeing him here in person. We haven't seen him in a couple of years in person like this. Robinhood co-founder and CEO Vlad Tenev. Good morning to you.
Thanks for having me, guys. It's good to be here live.
We want to talk about so many different things, about the markets, about stocks. But let's start crypto because we
75% in a month.
Off air, we were talking about sort of what's going on with crypto. What you're seeing, I mean, it's been a huge move, but it's also in terms of just straight volume, it's a huge situation. What do you think is happening?
I think there's a couple of things. I think a lot of people have forgotten that Robinhood is a major player in the cryptocurrency industry. We do a lot of things. We've obviously done a lot with retirement. We've rolled out 24-hour market for equities. But along this time, we've had a crypto team that's been innovating, that's been building stuff. And our approach with crypto is to make it very clear to customers that they're getting a great deal on their crypto in Robinhood. And so we've done a lot of work clarifying how good our spread is, communicating that to customers. And we've seen our market share grow. And I think that now you're starting to notice it as the overall market is growing. And I think we can talk about what's driving that. There's a lot of theories out there. Nobody knows for sure because this is a decentralized asset, but there's optimism around an ETF.
Right.
There's optimism around the rate environment changing, the Fed stopping the aggressive rate hikes that they've been doing. Right. And there's also this idea that cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin are an inflation hedge.
How tied do you think your own value, the value of your business, the earnings of your business are to crypto? I ask because you can see the stock moves as crypto has moved, but Coinbase obviously has really moved as a function of crypto. So how big a component part of your business ultimately is the crypto piece?
Well, our business is much more diversified than sort of the pure crypto companies. So I think we benefit from the crypto markets going up, but also there's certain things that Robinhood has that crypto companies that are only doing crypto don't. One example is 24-hour market, and we added over 100 new symbols. We're up to over 200 now. And you saw this last Sunday when Bitcoin crossed 40,000. The Twitter was, or X, I should say, flooded with Robinhood screenshots because people wanted to compare what's happening with Bitcoin to what's happening with the crypto and blockchain stocks. And Robinhood became the first and really the only place where you can actually not just see overnight trading of these equities, but actually transact in them. So our screenshot share was quite high. And I think that shows the platform, the power of the platform that we're building. You can do crypto and stocks in the same place.
What percentage of your customers are buying individual names and or crypto versus buying either ETFs or mutual funds or investing in a more staid way, if you will?
Yeah, well, we publish this stuff. I'm sure you all have seen the Robinhood Investor Index, where we can track how our customers are doing. We also publish lists of the 100 most popular stocks and investments. we have shared in the past that Bitcoin is actually the most popular recurring investment. So customers that are dollar cost averaging are choosing Bitcoin as a part of their portfolio. But I think the question between ETFs and individual stocks is in some ways the wrong question, because Robinhood also pioneered fractional shares. So you can invest any dollar amount in any stock, ranging from, all the way to stocks like Berkey, which are hundreds of thousands of dollars per share. So you can create these diversified portfolios using our technology, and you don't need to have an ETF to get that type of diversification. Whereas before we came around, that type of diversification was impossible. You needed a brick and mortar entity like an ETF to make it reasonable for customers.
When things really get going, and I'm thinking about the meme stock craze, I mean, eventually there's going to be another period of euphoria, I guess. Do you think the meme stocks will be different? Do you think it's going to be the same names? Are they ever coming back, do you think?
This is a good question he's about to ask around the meme stock craze. I thought this was actually a good question. We'll listen to like 2 more minutes of this and then we'll move on.
I mean, we work hard to be an impartial platform. I don't really have an opinion on what stocks are going to go up
It'll
or
happen
down
again, won't it?
I think the market goes through cycles. You're seeing that in crypto. I think you'll see that in stocks as well. We've been putting a lot of effort in making sure that we're there for customers when they need us, that we add more features. 24-hour market, I think, would have been very interesting back in 2021, where so much of the activity happens overnight and over the weekends.
What have you done? You said you want to be there for customers. What have you done since the meme stock GameStop phenomenon? We all just saw the movie Dumb Money. Have you done to protect customers so that that kind of situation could never happen again? Meaning that there was a stock on your platform that couldn't effectively be bought.
Yeah, we've done a lot. First of all, we've been battle hardened with our infrastructure to make sure we can handle that load. I mean, we've had days back in 2021 where we processed 20 million plus trades, 20 billion plus in transaction volume. So we've been battle tested in a way that not a lot of consumer.
And this is a big point, bro. I mean, like him saying that, yeah, we know we messed up at that time, but we actually now have the capacity to handle that. If that happens again, that's another good reason for why Robinhood can sustain that momentum.
Financial companies have been. We've got a gigantic balance sheet, and we've also invested heavily in education and customer support, and we have a lot more features for customers to support them on the investing journey.
Is there a different business? I mean, we've also talked about the underlying business model of how you get paid. Is that going to shift over time, you think, or it hasn't?
Well, it has already. So if you look at our revenues in the past few quarters, interest has actually surpassed transaction income as our leading source of revenue. And it actually
just
reflects
because of higher rates?
It's higher rates, but also we had to work to turn the business model into one that's more diversified. That's through the Robinhood Gold product, where you get a 5% APY on your cash, which is industry leading. And that product's been growing very rapidly. It's through things like retirement, the 1% match that we're offering on account transfers uncapped, which has been very popular.
So as you can see, I mean, there's a lot of different ways that Robinhood has differentiated themselves and been able to gain the momentum they need to be able to get investors excited about the way their product is moving. Right now, $11.16, up 5.94%. I think the biggest thing he said on CNBC today is that the number one asset customers are buying or DCAing into through these recurring payments on the platform is Bitcoin. And as a result of that, you know, we are seeing momentum on Robinhood go higher because Bitcoin and crypto is going higher as well. So those crypto trading volumes are going up. I think the cat is out of the bag. I think the market sees what's happening with Robinhood. Is this retail or institutional? I think that this is a little bit more retail heavy, just given how Robinhood is. But I definitely think that, you know, almost 30% in the past week, there were some institutions that saw the crypto trading volumes that Robinhood put out on the 8K yesterday, and they told their algorithms to just buy the hell out of it because they know those Q4 numbers are going to pop and the stock is going to have to come up as a result of that, right? Because just the nature of how investors are going to perceive what's going on with Robinhood. Sorry, guys, for the mic. We had a mess up in the beginning. This is not even the correct computer I'm supposed to be streaming this on, so I'll try to make sure that doesn't happen yesterday, but that's why the mic is popping a little bit, but sorry about that. So I think the street figured it out. I really do. The problem here with Robinhood, I think it can run to 13. I think that's possible. Can it break 13? The bull case to me is yes, because the catalyst is there to break 13. Remember, when Robinhood ran to 13 back in the summer, it was because of a head fake by the Fed when they said, we're going to pause rates, and everyone thought, okay, it's time to cut. Inflation was still at almost 5%, right? There was no way in hell that was going to happen. Now that inflation has come down pretty dramatically, and it's going to be down even more with CPI, and the catalysts are there in regards to crypto, UK expansion, etc., I don't really know what gets Robinhood to be trading again below cash. And have a 30% decline. Like, and now if that means, can it go down from 13 to 10? If it gets to 13, probably, but can it break through that? Because all the momentum is finally there to get the stock out of its 2-year, range of $7 to $8, $7 to $10. I think that is there as well. And so I think the street has figured that out. Those Q4 numbers are going to be important, but all indications are that those Q4 numbers are not going to be the worst. Google at 132, Meta 319, SoFi up 3.5% on the day, 827 on SoFi. Absolutely great price action on SoFi. Palantir 1769 down, not as down as it was before, but still down at 1766, down 3% on the day now for Palantir. Let's go back to Anthony Pompliano. We heard him talking again to get a better understanding of what's going on with crypto. Let's hear his thoughts on why Bitcoin is pumping.
Companies being built here, Coinbase being a fantastic example, up 330% over the last year to date. And what we've watched is regulators have stepped in, and they basically are slapping the wrist of anyone who is not operating within the American financial system.
Michael Saylor, has had, I guess, down at 17,000. There were people that thought that he was going to get like a margin call or something. He's back now. I don't know how much he bought. Something like how much?
He's got 174,000 Bitcoin. He's up $2 billion on it.
He made some weird comment the other day, and that was about what percentage of the global financial system, in his view, Bitcoin will represent at some point. And then he did some simple math and came out with some crazy number. What was it? I saw it.
There's all kinds of numbers that fly.
But it was like 5 to 10 million per coin or something was what he came up with.
If Bitcoin just simply matches gold, it'd be $500,000. If it's
500,000, if it
matches gold at $10 trillion. Now, if you continue to look at other assets it could eat into, if you have $1 today and you want to store wealth, you historically could have bought gold, you could have bought fine art, you could have bought all kinds of real estate, whatever.
Hard assets.
Young people are saying to themselves, I want to buy the hardest asset I can find, which tends to be Bitcoin. And it's liquid, and it is the best performing asset over the last 10 years.
But it's not but the Saylor question is how much of it becomes part of the quote unquote financial system. And is he suggesting that there has to be a payments element or an actual transaction element?
But he was saying gold. You weren't saying a payment. If it became part of the payment system, it could be much bigger.
Well, but it also, if it became part of, and this goes back to, can it really be part of the payment system and have actual and continue to increase? Because as we've discussed a million times, if it keeps increasing, nobody's ever going to use it.
Except there's that company we had on that uses just tiny little pieces of Bitcoin.
Here's what I would say. Whenever I
do it, and it doesn't matter the little minuscule variations on a daily basis.
Whenever I talk to someone in private and they ask me about Bitcoin, I tell them it's very simple. If you think that the Federal Reserve and other central banks are going to have to print capital or print money in order to finance all of this debt, then you're going to want to be in something other than dollars. And
you've got to get Andrew on board. You're still not on board.
I have been so curious.
Are you more skeptical?
From the beginning.
But at 25,000, you were really.
I was probably early on my.
There was a number you once said that if it hit, that you would think about buying it for your kids.
$5,000.
5,000.
Right. But at 25, you were really.
Okay, so his argument is that Bitcoin is an asset that young people want access to, institutional investors want access to, and I think everyone can understand that is why we are seeing more exposure to it as an asset class. Look, I'll be the first one to admit when Bitcoin was at 20K and I was basically shitting on it and disrespecting it, I didn't understand the asset class. I didn't understand the story. Now, it's easy to say that as something goes up and you're like, yeah, I was wrong, and if it went down, I would have looked like I was right. But genuinely, I think I have studied Bitcoin more. I was at Las Vegas a month ago. I was with a guy who has 80% of his net worth in Bitcoin, someone I really trust, PhD in physics, one of the smartest guys I've ever met. And we talked for a couple hours about it. And he explained to me why he's invested in it. Besides like the narrative around Bitcoin, why he's invested in it. And that's when I started to get it, and that's when I was like, all right, I see why someone would invest in it. And now a lot of people are seeing why you would invest in a company like Bitcoin. Robinhood, 1114, 1124, 1125, up 6.74% on the day. The cat is out of the bag. The street has figured out what is going on with Robinhood, and they are giving them the premium because that is happening. Philip says, I was telling you to buy, sending you Bitcoin, and you were laughing at me. Philip, I know. I'm sorry. It is what it is. All I can say is I'm sorry. But Philip, I have your $50 in Bitcoin, and that's up right now. So thank you. I think you sent it to me at like 30K or something like that. And that was my own ignorance, and that's it. It is what it is. And honestly, I deserve to not have the Bitcoin gains. This is the one thing about accountability I'm learning in the stock market. If you don't understand, like people who are shitting on Robinhood because they thought it was quote unquote unprofitable and they're a business that's losing, like they had the GME crisis, all these stupid narratives I've heard for the past 2 weeks. None of those people deserve to make money on Robinhood because they just didn't do the due diligence to understand it. Just like I don't deserve to make money on Bitcoin, and I definitely don't deserve to make money on Coinbase because I didn't get it. Coinbase at 6 billion was insane. And I can't believe no one told me. Mateo's probably listening to this right now. He's mad as shit because he was trying to tell me in the chat. But Coinbase at 6 billion was absolutely insane. Like at 6 billion, it was insane in February. And we didn't get it. And I think that would have been an easy play, to understand Bitcoin, even if you're not bullish on Bitcoin. Truist, another company that I'm very bullish on, up 3% on the day, $34.12. Really nice price action by Truist. Why is this happening? Honestly, I think the regional banking story is going to gain momentum. Remember, a lot of these regional banks, Bank of America CEO was on CNBC yesterday. Bank of America has $131 billion of unrealized loan losses on their balance sheet. Why? Because they issued loans at 2%. Now rates are at 5.5%. So the delta between 5 to 2, if you mark those loans to market, they are losing to the tune of $100 billion. I think Truist is losing somewhere close to like $20 to $40 billion. When rates come down, the tangible book value goes up because the delta between where they issued the loan at and where the rate is at right now starts to decrease, which means that increases the value of their asset of their balance sheet, the loans on their balance sheet, because they're still down, but not as down anymore, which means the stock theoretically should have a higher tangible book value and potentially go up as a result of that. Truist at 34.07. I purchased it when it was mainly in the 27 range, then again at the 30 range. This is another story that is the 6th largest bank in the United States of America. It had a 7% dividend. Right now, the dividend is at 6.1%, and it's down still, I think 30% year to date. It was at $64 before Silicon Valley Bank crashed. And when that crash happened, it fell down to 24. It fell down to 26.11. These were like 11-year lows on Truist. Now recovering more because if rates are starting to get cut, then obviously their tangible book value should go up. And it is going to participate in the banking sector that has been beaten up because of rate cuts going down, helping their loans on their balance sheet. So that's why we're seeing Truist go a little bit higher as well. Let's take one last look at equity markets, and then I'll be done for the day. We got SoFi up 3.46%, SoFi at 827. Truist 3404, Google 132, Meta 319, Palantir 1765, still down 3.5% on the days. S&P 500 457. I will buy more Palantir when we hit the 16s. If we hit the 16s, not loading the boat at 1765, but we'll see, how low can it go or if it stays at this level. Ride is up 0.56%. CleanSpark is basically flat for the day, now turning red. Obviously, CleanSpark has run up a lot, so we're seeing it come down. Marathon 1578 up 3.28%. Robinhood 1117, 6% on the day, now coming down as well. Just a little bit. Tesla 243, Snowflake 189. GameStop has earnings today. That's up 3.64%. So we're seeing some momentum on GameStop. Nvidia going below 471 at 467. Microsoft 370 now turning red. Amazon 149. Truist 3408, and Palantir again 1775 on the day. Not bad, folks. Not bad, folks. We're having a bit of a green day, a little bit of red in different sectors, a little bit green as well. Thank you all for putting up with the first 6 minutes of the stream. We had a lot of technical difficulties, but we're here. We're good to go, and we got it solved. Hopefully, I don't know why my laptop was. It wasn't the Wi-Fi. I told some people this. I got new internet installed on Saturday. I called up Optimum. I had them come in. They installed the internet. I have better internet. The problem is the computer just started being stupid. So I hate to not take accountability for this, but I guess the computer was just being weird. Maybe I didn't charge it enough overnight or whatever, but that was what was happening. Let's do word of the day, and then we'll be gone for today. Exciting day in the markets. We'll see how this continues to go. If you want to follow the fund Twitter, link is in the description. You can follow me on Twitter, and we can keep it going from there. And you'll see me tweet about what's going on in the markets. All right, word of the day. Let's see what we got. What do we got? Oh, these stupid words that I don't know how to pronounce. All right, here we go. Word of the day is rocks.
Rue.
Okay, it's not rocks. It's rue, apparently. That's it sounds like rocks, bro.
Rue.
Or it looked like rocks. You guys heard that, right? Is that a rue? Goodness gracious. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, roux is a cooked mixture of butter or other fat and flour used to thicken sauces, soups, and other dishes. Well, we're seeing some stocks that are in a cooked mixture of EU expansion, UK expansion, 24-hour trading. They added 100 more stocks there, by the way. Bitcoin as a catalyst, Dogecoin going up. You got retirement accounts. Robinhood is just in a roux of all these things that are going on that are allowing it to do a lot better, and the street is starting to respect it a little bit more. Amit is on a streak for saying words wrong. Dude, the streak is like almost 10 days. This is insane how long it's been going. All right. That is it. Thank you, everybody, for being here. You never cooked a day in your life. That is wrong. I know how to make Alfredo pasta. Kind of. So I'm good. I need to learn how to cook. I need to learn. I can't be 30 years old and not know how to cook. I'm 26 and I can decently cook. I can decently put stuff in a microwave and cook, but like, yeah, I can make eggs. I can do that. All right. Daily Pouncer episode will be out today. I was going to upload an episode yesterday, guys. I did the episode, but the thing wouldn't export and it got to like 10 p.m. and then I didn't upload. So now the episode, I'm going to have to put it out on a different day because like today was a little bit different in terms of the news. So I'll figure out when to upload that episode. But the reason it didn't come out yesterday is because the exporting it's just YouTuber problems. That's what happened. So that's it. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you guys. Real quick, SB's Spigzo says, question, if you buy Bitcoin or Robinhood, you hold it like a stock, correct? No need for a wallet. Correct. You hold it like a stock, and that's why a lot of people trade on Robinhood. It's the smallest fee for holding your Bitcoin. Some people care about holding it. Other people don't give a shit. They just want to speculate on it. So that's why Robinhood becomes the platform to do that. And yeah, so you don't have to actually own it. Adam says, I'll help you. Adam runs a awesome ramen shop in Michigan. Adam, you thought I forgot. No, I know you do. So you got to help me learn how to cook and help me make more ramen at the end of the day. John Steven says, thanks. Thank you, John. I appreciate it. All right, everybody. Walter White, learn how to cook. I love it. Say my name. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. It's the Heisenberg hat. I love it. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning, 8:45 a.m. Thankful to be alive. Great morning. Have a good one. Bye, everybody.